Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Right. I know it's been ages since I've last posted a story, and so I promised you all a beautiful story. I thought it was amazing. And so the story, obviously, again, it's one of those stories that happened in the past, and so that just gives you an idea of the setting. Now, what happened is there's a guy who lives in a town, or let's just say a village, and then he travels from this village to the town or the city, buys his wheat and corn and all that sort of stuff and flour from that city, and then puts it on his donkey and then brings it back to his town or village, and then there he either sells it or he's already bought it for somebody and then will just deliver it. So he'd either carry or invest himself into it. Now this guy would do this. He was quite happy and content with his life so far, and he thought that his life was beautiful and everything's going really well, and our business was blooming. Now one day he went to the town. He got his merchandise, which is basically a big bag of wheat. He placed it on the donkey and he walked back towards his village. Now the route he took from his town to the village, there is one route, and if you're walking on this route, you're automatically assumed that you're heading towards that village. On his way, and he looked behind him, and there was this one person that was walking behind him. And so slowly, this person caught up with him, and then till they were walking towards, next to each other, towards that town. Our friend, the guy in the story, he was just I don't know, maybe had a bad day that day or something happened, but he was just not in a mood for a conversation or anything. He was just walking. This person's walking next to me, it doesn't really matter. I'm still heading towards my place. I just want to finish off the day. And then that person turned to him and he asked him, "What is your name?" So our friend responded back and he said, I'm saying our friend, he's the guy with the donkey, the guy in the story, right? So our guy said, "Yeah, my name is Bilal." And then stopped there. So he didn't ask him back. So what is your name? He just continued, right? And so they continued, and the person there asked him, "Are you not going to ask me your name? Are you not going to ask me my name?" He just looked at him and he just nodded and just continued. He just did not care. He did not want to continue or have a conversation with this guy. And so they continued walking, and this person asked him, "Are you not going to ask me for my name?" And he said, I think he just nodded. "No, quite frankly, I don't care." So he just gave him that look. And then the third time, he asked him. But then at this point, they reached a fork on the road. So there's a few routes that will take you to the town or the village, but it will get you in from different ways. But ultimately, it will still be the same town or village. And so this guy asked him one more time, "Are you not going to ask me for my name?" And he said he just didn't. And in fact, he just looked at him. He felt that this guy was going through one route, so he just went and took the other route and just continued. And so this new stranger just continued on his journey. And as our friend was continuing walking, the bag of wheat that he had on the donkey slightly started sliding, and then he just fell. Now our friend got into a big trouble here because Bilal, so we know his name is Bilal, right? So Bilal was just in a lot of trouble now because this big bag of wheat required two people to put it onto the donkey's back. He himself can't do it by himself. And so he turned back. "Excuse me, mister, sir, brother, what? Assalamu alaikum." No. Nothing. That guy would not respond. Obviously, you can still see him. They haven't gone too far apart. But he just would not respond to him. He kept looking, he kept calling, he kept shouting, he kept whistling. Nothing. And so eventually he just left the donkey where it is. He tied it. He just made sure that it doesn't run away. He ran towards that man and he said to him, "Excuse me, mister, I've been calling you all this time and you haven't responded." And he said, "Well, no, you haven't called me. Because my name's not mister, my name's not sir, my name's not a whistle, my name's not brother. I have a name. But you didn't want to ask for my name, so quite frankly, you didn't ask for my name, really. I don't know what's this obsession about the name." Anyway, so he said, "Okay, now, what is your name?" And he said, "My name's Hamza." End of story, really. The guy just wanted to tell him his name is Hamza. So, okay, he said, okay. But for a minute there, Bilal thought that this Hamza guy actually might be quite wise. This guy looks like he's a wise man. So he said to him, "Tell me some knowledge. tell me some advice. And he said to him, okay, I'm going to give you 3 advices, okay? Advice number 1, if you're walking with anybody, ask for their name. Don't walk next to somebody without asking their name. Interesting. And you know what? I've heard this story outside, asking people their names. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? Anyways, and what's advice number 2? Advice number 2, okay? I'm going to digress out of the picture, out of the story now. I do not agree with this advice number 2. I think it's quite bad. But let's go back to the story. So this guy said to him, advice number 2 is do not entrust your wife with your secrets. Right? No wonder you can see why I disagree with this. But anyways, so back to the story. So the guy says, do not divulge or give your secrets to your wife. And he said, okay. What's advice number 3? He said, you've got 3 advice. He said, you see, you've got this dagger, knife, whatever it is you've got there. Do not take it out and flash it out to people. Stop taking it out. If you've got an occasion that does not require you taking it out for self-defense, do not take it out. Keep it with you. And he said, okay, good advice. Have you finished your advices? And Hamza said, yes, I've finished it. He said, okay, come with me. I need your help with the bag of wheat. And he went, obliged, helped him, put it back on the donkey, and they both parted. A few days later, Bilal has got a farm. This is the guy with the donkey. Bilal's farm was normal, nothing special about it. But round about this story happened about October, November-ish time. October, November time is winter, right? So you wouldn't expect to find summery fruits during winter season, right? Watermelon being one of them. But lo and behold, for Bilal that season, during winter time, he actually was walking around in his farm and he found watermelon growing in his tree. Now watermelon only comes during the summer season, and so he found it quite miraculous and quite happy at that stage. He found something that nobody has got. So nobody's going to believe, but the best thing is he thought, nobody's going to believe me. Nobody's going to believe that I've actually got watermelon in my farm during winter. So he tried to monetize this idea, and obviously in the wrong way, but he decided to somehow monetize it. So he went back to his wife and he said to her, listen, you never believe what's happened. In my farm, there is watermelon. And she couldn't believe it herself. But then he said, no, definitely, we've got watermelon, it's growing, and it's beautiful. And she goes, what are you going to do with it? She goes, you know what, I am going to monetize this. She goes, how? He said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out to the people, and I'm going to bet them that I have got a watermelon growing in my farm. Some of them will not believe me, rightly so, and I don't blame them. But the one who does not believe me, I will challenge him on 3 touches, right? So what you'd normally do is you'd bet somebody, and astaghfirullah, it's haram. Betting is haram, right? But what you could do is you'd bet, and if you win, you give money or whatever you betted on. But in this case, this guy betted on 3 touches. The way 3 touches works is if I win the bet, then I will go into your property, and the first 3 things I touch will become mine. I'll touch the house, that becomes mine. I'll touch the garden, it becomes mine. I'll touch the farm, it becomes mine. You get the idea. Touch the car, it becomes mine. So 3 touches. Anything more, nothing less, nothing more. So his idea was to go out there and tell people about his watermelon, and the first person who doesn't believe him, he'll challenge him to 3 touches, and if he wins, then he will get 3 items from that person's property. But he was so certain he's going to win. Now, the bit that I did not tell you about is that the wife was not loyal to her husband. She's actually got a boyfriend. Oh yeah, by the way, this is not for under 18s, yeah? Okay. So, the wife figured out a way that she was sick and tired of her husband. She just wanted to get out of this relationship, but she didn't know how. But then she thought of taking advantage of the situation, and so she told her boyfriend that her husband found watermelon in his farm, and he's going to bet people at 3 touches. Now, what she wanted from her boyfriend to do is to go into the farm, take out all signs of watermelon, take all the watermelon plants, get it out of the farm, Make it look like nothing happened in the farm. Make it look there's no gap, no space, no nothing. Just cover it up. And when when her husband loses the bet, then that person gets 3 touches, and so he will go into the house, into the husband's house, and then put his hand on the wife so he can get the girl through the wife, the house, and the farm. So she planned this. And then the husband, unknown to him, was so happy about this plan. He didn't know that his wife was being unfaithful to him. So what happened that the man, or the boyfriend, did do as planned. He went into the farm, picked up all the watermelons, and cleared all signs of it. This left the man, the husband in the story, Bilal, yeah. So Bilal was very happy that he think, I'm going to win this bet. So he went, according to what he planned, he went and started telling people about this watermelon plant in his farm, and it's all good and it's lovely. And at that point, the boyfriend stood up and he said, "No, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, and I'll challenge you that you're lying." He knows, like the boyfriend knows, that there is no more watermelon in his farm because he himself took it out. Bilal, being very sure, he said, "Yes, I challenge you in 3 touches." And he explained the rules of 3 touches, as I said to you. He's going to put his hand on 3 things of that person's property if he wins the bet. So they said, "Okay, and let's go now." So the boyfriend, being quite sure of himself, and the husband, unknown to him that there is no watermelon, was so sure himself. And so they went to the farm. Oh, by the way, the boyfriend just went and says, "Oh, by the way, nobody moves." So he told everybody who was there witnessing in the town or the village or the cafe, whatever that happened, he said to them, "I'm going to bring you some fake watermelon from that person's farm." They all laughed, so he just added more drama to the story. They went to the farm, and lo and behold, there was no watermelon in that farm. So he was really dismayed. He was really upset about it. And Bilal was just so frustrated. How can this be? It was just here. I'm sure of it. And the other guy was just so happy that he just won 3 touches. He won the bet. And he said, "Okay, we'll come back tomorrow, and then in front of the people, and I'll take what's rightfully mine." At that point, Bilal realized what a mistake he's done. But he didn't know that it would be anything to do with his wife. And so he went rushing back to who? Hamza. Do you remember the guy who helped him initially? He looked at Hamza. Hamza, this guy must be really wise, and so he must be helping me out. So he went to Hamza and he said to him, "This is the story. This has happened, blah, 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 etc., etc." Hamza turned back to Bilal and he said to him, "Listen, I'm not saying that your wife is unfaithful, but I am saying she is unfaithful, if you get my drift." And I believe this was all planned by your wife, because it's so much of a coincidence what had happened. The way you said to me the story, the way things have happened, just looked very, very, very rehearsed. And so, mate, you really got your foot into this one. But I'll tell you what you can do. Right now, don't waste time. Go to the carpenter. Get the carpenter to build you or make you a ladder so big enough that it will reach the roof of your house. Do that. But on your way from the carpenter to your house, make a scene so that everybody sees that you've got a ladder. People see that you own a ladder. People know that the ladder is one of your properties. And once you reach your home, and right before the person arrives, I want you to lay your ladder against your house, but have your wife on the roof next to the ladder, so that anybody can see that your wife is actually on the roof. And then what I want you to do also is to take any money you have from the house and take it outside, just in case my plan doesn't work, right? And then call the people over as agreed. You've got to stick to your word, and try to tell him, or just let him, and he'll understand what it is. Just get that guy, and of course, if my plan works, he will try to climb up the ladder to put his hand on your wife. So there he takes it. I didn't say that this is a true story, by the way, and I doubt it's happened. But just go with the flow with me on this one, all right? So following day, people gathered because people were quite interested in this. Now, if somebody had lost a bet, another person's going to come and put his hand on 3 items of that person's possessions. This is deep. Let's just all witness it. And so they all congregated outside this man's house, and they were so thrilled about what's going to happen. And so this man approached and said, and they all quite congratulated that guy for being honest and sticking to his word, and he could risk everything he's worked up so far, but yet he still stuck to his word and still went ahead. And so this person who won the bet, the boyfriend, came and he saw the lady on the roof. He said, brilliant. So she's going to be number 1. I'm going to put my hand on the house, number 2. Then lay my hand on the farm, number 3, just as planned. So as he approached the house, he put his hand on the ladder. And then he put his next hand on the ladder. And then his next hand on the ladder. So now he's touched the ladder 3 times. So then Bilal just jumped up to him and he said, okay, go off the ladder now. You had 3 touches. And I bear witness, and I want everybody to witness, that this ladder is now yours. And the guy goes, no, I haven't done much with 3 touches. How many times did you touch the ladder? 3 times. It is yours. You wasted all 3 on one ladder, so it's your problem, it's not mine. And you know what? While you're there, you can have that lady because she's divorced. I divorce her, I divorce her, I divorce her. Because at this point he realized that his wife was unfaithful. And not only was she unfaithful to him, she was going to make him lose all that money, all that wealth, and give it or hand it over to this unlawful person, really. And so this man was so happy, Bilal was so happy that he uncovered this unfaithfulness of his wife, and he was so happy that he didn't lose all his money, and he was so happy that Hamza really saved his life there again. And so he went and he really showered Hamza with a lot of gifts. Then a few days later passed by, and he came across a few people who were about to cut through some butternut squash, of all things. I didn't say it's a true story, by the way, so just go with the flow here. Butternut squash, for those people who do cut it, is a really tough fruit, a veg. It is quite tough, really, and it does require a lot of effort to just cut through it and cut through the thick layer of it. And at that point, our friend Bilal, forgetting all the advice he was given, he took out his dagger and he started chopping through it like anything. It was very nice and sharp, and he was able to chop through it. At that point, as he was chopping through it, a man just came by and approached him and said, "That's my dagger! You just stole my dagger! That dagger's mine!" Because it was so lovely and it's so well decorated that it just attracted people's attention. And he said to him, "This dagger is mine. I'm going to take you to the judge, and he will award it to me because it's mine and you stole it from me." Bilal said, "I had it forever, basically. This is mine a long time ago. It cannot be yours." But that person said, "No, I will take it to the judge. You stole my dagger." Again, Bilal went off to his friend Hamza, and he asked Hamza, "Oh, Hamza, help me." "Oh, Bilal, you will never, ever, ever listen. I told you not to take your dagger out, but yet you chose to do it." Okay, so here's the plan. I will come with you to the court, and I want you to react like this, like this, like this, like this, if he says something. And if he says something else, so he gave him a plan, right? And we'll go through the plan in a minute. Well, I'll show you what happened. Following day comes, and they go to the courthouse, and they sat there, and Hamza is there with Bilal. The court, obviously, would just, if there is no physical evidence, there's no witnesses, then the court will resort to you swearing by Allah. So you say, "Wallahi al-Azim, that this is mine," and "Wallahi al-Azim," what anything else is wrong. So you have to say a full acknowledgement and swearing by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then if you swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you're proven wrong, then it is quite severe. A perjury against the cause, perjury against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your witness statement will never be accepted. You can never be a witness if you are proven wrong. And so when they reached the court, he asked the The judge asked that man, can you prove that this knife is actually yours, this dagger is actually yours? He said, I do not have any witnesses, I do not have any statements. All I have is to say, Wallahi al-Azim, I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this dagger is mine. Bilal at that stage was like, but how can that be? He just swears? I can swear that this is mine. But then he said no. The judge said no, he swear by Allah, he can use it. And now the fact that he swore by Allah Almighty that this is his dagger, I have to award it to him. You do not have any physical evidence in this case. And at that particular moment, Hamza just gave Bilal a quick nudge, and then just as he's accepting that the judge awarded the dagger to this stranger, he said, so judge, you're telling me that this dagger is now actually his? Period. And the judge said yes. And he said, oh judge, catch him, catch him, catch him. He's the one who stole the dagger. He's the one who killed my father. And the judge was like, what? And then at that point he was pretending to attack this stranger. Hamza pulled him, part of the plan. That dagger was found was inside my dad. Somebody had stabbed my dad with this dagger, and I've been looking forever to find the owner of this dagger who killed my father. And that man was just shocked. Yes, but no, I didn't have it all this time. No, it wasn't. He couldn't say it wasn't his because of the ramifications of lying to the court. And so he found himself, and then the judge had to stop them. And he said, okay, now, Islamically, because you have acknowledged that you killed a person, the person can either forgive you, like the next of kin can either forgive you, ask for your execution in return, or ask for blood money, basically. And calm down. And he said to him, okay, I will be happy with some blood money. So that guy had to go, for lying about a dagger, ended up paying blood money for a murder they had not committed at that point. That's it, really. So this person became rich, wealthy, clever, more mindful, and he learned huge lessons. Do I say that I've learned a few lessons? I'll just say just be careful who you talk to, really. That's the main lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, press like, subscribe, share, comment, the whole malarkey that you get at the end of every YouTube video. Take care. Oh, subscribe, and inshallah I'll be uploading more stories, inshallah. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.